this computer. All right. Hello and welcome everyone to our 5th Reach Out and Connect workshop. Tonight we are talking about caring for caregivers. And we are super excited to have a guest who is a wonderful mother of 2, Audrey. And then we also have Carrie from the Reach Out and Read team.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here.
And then we once again have my wonderful dad, Gabe, who is our translator. All right, so tonight we are talking all about caring for caregivers. And so this just means we want to chat about different techniques for caregivers to give themselves a little love during this time. Parents, your lives revolve around your children, which is not a surprise. But self-care and making sure you're in a good place to be able to take care of others is just as important. So I'm going to have my dad translate, and then I'm going to hand it over to Audrey to share a little bit about her experience of parenting during the time of COVID-19.
Yeah.
All right, Dad. Uh-oh, is he frozen? I think he might be frozen.
Buenas noches y
oh no.
Yeah. Oh. Buenas noches y esta. Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can. Yes. There we go. You're unfrozen.
Okay, I'm back.
Yes, you're back. You're good.
Okay. Buenas noches. Perdone todo. Esta noche vamos a hacer el número 5 de Reach Out and Connect y es en referencia de las personas que se encuentran cuidando a otras personas o que son sencillamente padres. Por esto, Kristen va a ser la que crea estos shops y tenemos a Audrey Perrot y tenemos a Carrie que nos van a ayudar a demostrar y cómo es que se desarrollan estas situaciones. Hoy vamos a revisar y vamos a mirar las técnicas diferentes que los padres y los cuidadores de otras personas, cómo se encargan ellos de ellos mismos para que estén sanos y de una forma feliz. Los padres y los cuidadores, ellos están siempre alrededor de los niños, lo que no es sorpresa, pero es muy importante que ellos se encarguen de ellos mismos también. Así asegurándose que el sitio donde ellos están alrededor de los niños sea un buen sitio, que sea muy estable y que al mismo tiempo crean esa satisfacción de estar todos juntos. Y como dije anteriormente, vamos a oír de 2 padres, de 2 mujeres, de 2 mamás que tienen hijos y van a exponer las experiencias que ellos han tenido. Y va a ser lo bueno, lo malo, lo abrumador y lo un poquito loco. Okay.
Audrey, you're up.
Okay, so parenting / coping during COVID. So Kristen kind of gave me a little bit of an outline that I'm just going to follow because I think it is a good way of putting it. So the good, the bad, the overwhelming, and the crazy part of parenting in the middle of all of this. So let's start with the good, because I always think it's best to remember what to be grateful for. And I personally believe there's always something you can find to be grateful for. So that's one of the things that I try to do in the middle of all of this with my kids. We try to find things that we're grateful for. So we have a comfortable home. We have clean running water. We have plumbing. I'm always grateful for plumbing, having visited places where I don't have plumbing. We have air conditioning, which in Florida is a necessity. And we have access to food. Those are all like what some people would consider basic needs, but in a lot of ways they're luxuries. Also, my husband and I are both able to do our jobs from home, which is great in that we are very blessed that we've been able to keep our jobs and still do them from home. Does also lead into the overwhelming part of it, which I'll get to. It also feels just good to be home. My kids are homebodies, which makes this a little bit easier, just a little bit though. And it gives my husband a chance to jump in. So even though we both work full time, I tend to be the one that takes them to school and picks them up from school and takes them to their therapies and does the homework with them. So this gives him a chance to jump in and be a part of that. Should I pause?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So Audrey empezó a hablar, como dijimos anteriormente, ella iba a hablar de lo bueno, de lo malo y de lo que es muy abrumador. Entonces acaba de hablar de qué es lo bueno. Ella dice que ella está muy agradecida por tener una casa que es cómoda, que es limpia, que tiene agua, que tiene plomería. Y ella hace un énfasis en la plomería porque dice que ha vivido en sitios donde no hay plomería y es bastante difícil a veces. Y ella vive en la Florida, entonces ella menciona que el aire acondicionado es muy importante. Y de esa manera todo esto está muy bueno, incluyendo, tiene un marido que trabaja de la casa, así como ella también lo hace, o sea que ellos se sienten que han sido muy bendecidos en ese sentido. Y por esta razón ellos están muy agradecidos, pues tienen trabajo, pueden traer un dinero y los hace sentir a ellos muy bien. Y como resultado de esto también hacen una unión con los hijos, por lo que están 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana. Y le da también al esposo una oportunidad de que él sea mucha parte de la familia. Okay.
So those were the good things that we found. There are bad. There are bad things about parenting in the middle of a pandemic. And it boils down to this. It is hard. It is very hard. Being a parent is hard in general, but having to parent in the middle of this is even harder. Both my kids have special needs. On top of that, I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I really appreciate what our school is trying to do to continue their education, and their therapists as well. We're doing all virtual. But because of their unique abilities, I can't just set them up in front of the screen and walk away. I have to be with them both during their school time. But I also have to try and still meet all the demands of my even more demanding job. So given all of that, trying to juggle a full-time job while also being kind of the teacher, even though they're in class, I have to be with them or my husband. So stress is just high. It's high for all of us. My son also deals with anxiety already on a regular day. So it's just a lot. And the last thing that we want to do is put more stress on them by them feeling our stress. And I know they feel it. because they tell us they also don't have any filters. So we hear a lot about that from them, and just trying to manage the hard. It is hard. By Wednesdays, we're done. I'm like, why do we still have 2 more days of this? So that's the bad.
Okay, so ahora se refiere a lo que es malo. Lo que es malo, ella se refiere, es una cosa que es muy difícil, ¿no? Especialmente en el caso de ella, porque ella dice que ser un padre es difícil, es muy difícil. Y entonces, en el caso especial de ella, ella tiene 2 niños, que uno tiene 6 años y el otro tiene 9 años. Y ella aprecia mucho que tengan la habilidad de ir al colegio y que estén continuamente tratando de aprender. Pero ella no puede, como son pequeños, ella no puede sencillamente dejar a los niños enfrente de una computadora y irse a hacer lo que ella tiene que hacer. Ella tiene que estar con ellos todo el tiempo. Y así es difícil porque demanda mucho la atención de ella, demanda que ella también tiene que hacer el trabajo que ella le están pagando para que haga, y pues eso hace un estrés muy, muy duro, y es un estrés que es muy alto a veces. Y así, entonces también ellos le ponen estrés a los niños. Y los niños lo demuestran también, que ellos también tienen mucho estrés y se lo dejan saber a los padres de una manera muy fácil, por lo que ellos no tienen ningún filtro. Ok.
So, deep breath. Just even talking about it stresses me out.
Oh no.
But it's Thursday, as I told my kids this morning. It's like Friday Eve. It's like Christmas Eve, and tomorrow's Christmas. It's all in the vernacular, right? It's all how you spin it. Can you tell I work in advertising?
I'm gonna tell myself from now on. It's like Christmas Eve every Thursday.
Yes. So the overwhelming. So I already talked a little bit about that. So by Wednesdays, we're just done. Between the schoolwork and the jobs and trying to all manage it from home, the bickering between the 2 kids starts to get to all of us. So that just adds a whole other layer. And of course, the most overwhelming part to me is, when is this going to end? How long is this going to go on? Nobody has the answer, and everybody tells you different things. And who do you believe? And what do you believe? And what data is right? What data is, you know? And so how are we going to manage this over the summer? If we're still doing our jobs remotely, but now we can't put the kids in camps. We can't hire a babysitter. My mom can't come over and watch the kids because she still has to go to work, and she's still exposed every day because she works at a doctor's office. So how are we going to do that? And I have no idea. I mean, things are just going to have to be flexible. But that's overwhelming, especially for somebody like me who's a planner. The unknown is really hard. Also, like, just all the different, like, what's the protocol for grocery shopping, how to wear a mask, what kind of mask, should we go out, we need to go for a walk, but now we're, all those things. And we are almost also out of toilet paper, and we still can't find it anywhere. So, like, that's stressful, and that's overwhelming. And so that's the overwhelming piece of it, I think, is just that we don't know when it's going to end and how that's going to affect us and the kids long term. How sustainable is this situation that we're in, but yet safety first.
Ok, Audrey, así como acabamos de hablar de lo malo en español, lo malo la lleva a ella a hablar de lo que es totalmente abrumador. Lo abrumador es parte del parágrafo anterior que hablamos de que es difícil y es sencillamente muy difícil. O sea que la parte abrumador, ella se refiere que para el miércoles el esposo y ella se sienten que ellos ya están terminados de la semana, pero desafortunadamente es solamente el miércoles. Pues, y la razón por lo que ellos están así de abrumados es por lo que tienen que hacer los trabajos de ellos, tienen que hacer el trabajo de los niños del colegio, discuten muchas bobadas y eso es una cosa que es medio negativa, pero es parte de estar viviendo juntos todo el tiempo. Y también la parte que esto nunca se ha planeado y que no se puede planear para esto. Entonces, no saber cómo es que se va a terminar es una parte muy abrumadora. Y definitivamente le añada otra capa a la situación que tenemos con el COVID-19. Y ella se pregunta si esto es una cosa sostenible o no. Es una pregunta que ella la deja en el aire porque ella no sabe, ¿no? Por lo que nosotros todos estamos en una situación que es muy, muy nuevo para todos. Y ella se empieza a preguntar, ¿cómo es que voy a manejar a los niños? ¿Qué va a pasar en el verano cuando ellos estén completamente en la casa? Están haciendo todo remota. Poner a los hijos en un campo. No pueden alquilar una persona que se encargue de los niños tampoco. Ellos tienen que hacer la compra de sus propias comida, ir al supermercado. Tienen que ponerse máscaras, cuándo pueden ir hacia afuera. Bueno, es tremendo, es muy... Y para topear todo esto, ella dice que se le acabó el papel toilet y entonces, y que no lo puede encontrar en ningún lado. Y que todo esto está muy estrés.
Yeah, what he said. So let's see, the good, the bad, the overwhelming, the crazy.
Crazy.
So I'll give you an example of our crazy that happened just this past Monday. Just so that all the other parents out there don't feel like they're the only ones that are dealing with crazy or feeling crazy or going crazy. So my husband and I actually have a picture of it. I created a schedule. I told you I'm like really organized, very type A. But we created a schedule because we both have like really demanding jobs that we have to somehow squeeze in full time with the school. So I made this schedule so that we could both share in the school time, but then also squeeze in our office hours. And for the most part, we try to stick to those, but then like sometimes our jobs just require us to be on a conference call when I'm doing school and he can't fill in for me. So I'm like, okay, so this happened this past Monday. I had to be on a conference call while I was in charge of school with the kids. And I thought, okay, I'll put the conference call on mute and I will only unmute it when it's my turn to speak. Of course, when it was my turn to speak, guess who decided to start having a fight, all nice and loud and screaming. So I had to mute it again, like in the middle of my part of the conference call, mute it. I was mortified, trying to like discipline the kids, like put them in their timeouts and just be like, I just need you to be quiet for like 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm like, get back to my thing. I'm like, have it on speaker. I'm like cutting them up snacks of apples while talking about HTML tags and digital media. And my 9-year-old is getting upset because I didn't peel the skin off of his apple. And so I'm just like whispering, just please eat the apple. Just eat it. And then I walk away into the other room trying to just finish this call. When the call was over, I saw that his apples were gone. I was so proud. I was so proud that he ate the apples with the skin on. Or so I thought, until I opened up the trash. And the perfectly good apples were sitting on top of the trash, thrown away with no bites on it. This was Monday at 10:15 a.m. And I was like, I cannot lose it this early in the week, this early in the day. So I didn't yell, but I took those apples out of the trash and I lathered them up with soap and I washed all the soap off and I dried them off with paper towels and I put them back in his bowl and I said, you forgot something, and made him eat the apples because I just could not. I'm like, when we are in the middle of a pandemic and there are people out there that don't have access to food, you're going to eat the apples. What are some other ways you could have eaten the apples, even though you didn't? You could have. So then we went through different ways he could have eaten the apples with the skin still on it. He ate the apples.
With or without the skin?
I eventually peeled it off because he showed remorse.
Ok, so finalmente Audrey quiere hablarles acerca de lo que es bastante loco. Esta situación es muy loca y nos está atacando a todos, ¿no? De cualquier forma u otra. Y en la forma en que ella se quiere referir a qué tan loco esta situación es, ella tiene un ejemplo aquí donde dice que ella y el esposo crearon un calendario. Y así en este calendario ellos van a poner todas las horas que ellos necesitan para trabajar o para que los niños tienen que ir a hacer del colegio los niños. Y a medida que pasa el tiempo, entonces ellos cambian. Unos hacen el colegio, el otro va a hacer el trabajo y así entonces se encargan de los niños. A veces, desafortunadamente, el trabajo de ellos les requiere que vayan a hacer llamadas telefónicas que son muy importantes para el trabajo de ellos. Y especialmente esta semana, empezando esta semana, el lunes, hacia las 10:30 de la mañana, ella tenía que irse a una conferencia de llamada. Y entonces ella pensó que si ella podía dejar el teléfono que no la oyeran a ella, ¿no? Es pichar el botoncito donde no te oyen hablar. Y que pues ella sencillamente lo iba a aprender otra vez cuando tenía que hablar. De pronto iba a trabajar más o menos así bien, pero no. Lo peor es que cuando ella tenía que empezar a hablar, los niños empezaban a hacerle preguntas o los niños empezaban a pelear. Y entonces lo hacían demasiado complicado. Pero esta es una buena definición a lo que ella se refiere de qué tan loco esta situación es. Es muy difícil y lo mejor que puedes hacer es tratarla de controlar, pero también tienes que estar muy flexible a las situaciones. Y en todo esto, ella tenía que alimentar a su niño. Entonces ella le cortó unas manzanas y se las dejó a él para que se las comiera. Y ella no le cortó la cáscara de la manzana. Y sencillamente le dijo, cuando el niño se quejó de que por qué las manzanas tenían la cáscara, ella le dijo ahí callada porque estaba en su llamada telefónica, le dijo, por favor, come. Entonces, cuando la llamada se terminó, ella vio que las manzanas desaparecieron del plato y estaba muy orgullosa de que los niños habían comido las manzanas con la cáscara. Pero, afortunadamente, ella abrió la basura y ahí estaban las manzanas en la basura. Entonces, ella pensó que iba a perder la cabeza, pero no, tenía que hacer un regrupo de su cerebro y de sus pensamientos, porque como ella dice, solamente eran las 10 de la mañana y era el lunes y ella no se podía pensar que iba a perder la cabeza así empezando la semana. Entonces, lo que ella hizo fue poner las manzanas afuera de la basura, las lavó muy bien con agua y jabón, las secó y las puso en el plato y los obligó a que se las comiera.
Please don't call DC up on me.
That will never not be funny. Thank you for being so open and honest with all of us. We really
Transparency.
Yeah.
So it's what we need.
Yeah,
Clean
yeah.
apples, you know?
We're all feeling it.
Yes, this is so true.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've heard a little bit from Audrey, we want to talk, and we're going to hear a little bit more from her in a few more minutes, but we just want to talk about the different signs of stress. So if, maybe you feel like you're going a little bit crazy and you're a little overwhelmed and you're not really sure what's happening, if these things are happening to you, that means you're stressed and it's completely normal. So just some things to recognize: fear and worry about your own health or the health of your loved ones. Completely normal, especially during a pandemic when we're all worried about our health. Changes in sleep, not sleeping well or sleeping too long or sleeping not enough. Changes in eating patterns, either not eating or eating too much or eating things you normally don't eat. Concentrating, it's hard to concentrate. That for me is really, really hard, having to work and concentrate simultaneously. I feel like I start to stare off into space and I don't really know what's happening anymore, either in my own mind or around me. Yeah. The worsening of chronic health problems. So maybe you have some normal difficulty breathing and it just keeps getting worse. So something like asthma and it's acting up more. Or chronic back problems, or really anything. Worsening of mental health conditions. So maybe you were completely happy and everything was perfect before this, and now you feel like, you're starting to feel sad or depressed or anxious. Also totally normal. Or if you already are depressed or anxious and you're starting to feel more of those things. I struggle with anxiety myself, and I'm definitely feeling more anxious. And then increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So just, starting to abuse certain things. So all of these are just a few common signs of stress. There are definitely other signs of stress, but this will help you recognize if you're starting to feel stressed.
Lo que Kristen quiere referirse ahora es al de el CDC, que es el sitio donde se controlan todas las enfermedades aquí en Estados Unidos, en Atlanta. Y ellos han puesto unas líneas en que te dicen si tú estás estresándote mucho. Ella dice que las primeras señales de que tú estás estresándote mucho pueden ser fácilmente identificadas por medio de los comportamientos y de tus sentimientos. Así puedes estar en constante cuidado de que no te pase lo siguiente. Que tengas miedo y que te preocupes de tu salud y de las personas que tú amas. Cambios en las dormidas y cambios en la manera en que tú comes, especialmente en los calendarios o cómo tú comes. Que empiezas a tener dificultades en concentrarte o en dormir. Que se te empiezan a volver más difíciles todos los problemas que tienes de salud. También, si la parte mental tuvies que se empieza a afectar, es definitivamente una condición. Y finalmente, la razón en que tú te das cuenta que el alcohol el cigarrillo y otras drogas empiezan en tu vida normal.
So now we want to talk about a few things you can do to help decrease your stress levels. So coping strategies. And everybody will have different coping strategies. Not one strategy is going to work for everyone, and that's completely normal. So find out what works for you. Maybe you have to try a few things first. I know I've been trying all sorts of coping strategies, and I'm not even sure if I've found the perfect coping strategy. I don't know if the perfect coping strategy exists. So first suggestion would be to create a routine. The schedule that Audrey showed us in the beginning is a beautiful example of creating a routine, including, you know, when you're working, when you have time with your kids. Hopefully you can schedule in a little bit of self-care to get yourself to a happier place. Go to sleep and wake up at a reasonable time. Try to stick with that same routine. The other piece is taking care of your body, which means eating well, exercising regularly, which I know this is advice all of the time, and how many of us actually eat well and exercise regularly on a regular basis? But now might be the time to try. But as much as you can, you know, you don't need to start training to, you know, run a treadmill marathon in your apartment. But maybe start doing some stretching or deep breathing, yoga. There's all sorts of free videos out on the internet right now for different exercises that you can do at home. Maybe even involve your kids in the exercising. That way you can kill two birds with one stone there. So you're all exercising together. Also, take a break from the news. And this one I feel is very, very hard to do because we want the most up-to-date information. We want to know what's going on. But if you are constantly watching the news or reading the news, listening to the news, it gets really overwhelming. Same with social media too. That's what everybody is posting about. So give yourself a break. Let yourself live in the bubble of your family and who you're with. And try not to worry about too much about what's going on outside. One huge one, which we're going to give a couple of examples for in a few minutes, is make time for yourself. So in that routine, try to carve out a little bit of time for yourself, doing something that makes you happy. I saw a meme that said, parents are really enjoying those 5 minutes between 9:55 and 10 p.m.
Yep.
that they have to themselves every night,
Yep.
those 5 minutes. So yeah, unfortunately that might be true, but if you can, maybe at least once a week, do something you enjoy, whether that's lying down and listening to a podcast or listening to music, or if you like to knit, knitting or reading or crafting or coloring books or watching a favorite show, something that's going to make you happy. Another one too that's super important, especially for adults and children, is connecting with people. Talk to people about how you're feeling and your concerns. Videos and voice calls are great. I know everybody might be a little bit tired of Zoom and video calls. I know I'm personally tired of Zoom and video calls as I sit here on a Zoom video call, but they really are great. You can connect with people, your loved ones all over the world, and really try to create that interpersonal connection that we're all so missing right now. A couple more. Practice radical self-acceptance. I'm not going to lie. When I saw this as a suggestion, I laughed a little, right? Because this is something I personally struggle with on a regular basis. But we're doing way too much right now, way too much. And it's all under stress and duress and fear. And you know what? Just accept it, right? Accept everything about yourself, your situation, your life without question, without blaming anyone, not blaming anyone around you or yourself. You can't fail at surviving a pandemic right now. It's There's no roadmap. There's no how-to guide. You are doing the best you can and accept that. Like Audrey's Apple story, accept it. And her son had to accept it too.
Mm-hmm.
All of the accepting. And that's just where we are. And everybody is doing as good a job as they possibly can, and that's great. Developing a self-care toolkit, which I'm going to skip over this because we're going to give some examples of what this can look like in a minute. And then the last one is reach out for help. Your loved ones are there for you, whether it's via text, via phone, via video call, email. Talk to somebody, reach out for help. There's no shame in saying you need help. I think also if you need professional help, great. Therapy is a wonderful thing. I personally go to therapy every week, and it's been even better going to a therapist during the time of a pandemic, because all of those fears, I have somewhere for them to go and to talk to, and I don't feel like I have to reciprocate that relationship. I can just get it all out there. But asking for help is huge, sometimes scary, but it's really important.
Okay, so Kristen ahora se refiere a son estrategias en que tú puedes llevar a cabo tu vida normal, o que puedes mantener una vida normal que te ayude a estar de una forma sana y que sea frugal para ti y tu familia. La primera que ella dice es que crees una rutina de vete a dormir a una hora generalmente lo misma, levántate a una hora que sea razonable y asegúrate que todo en este calendario que tú haces, todo esté incluido ahí, incluyendo tiempo para encargarte de tú mismo, de tu esposo o tu esposa y de los niños. ¿Y qué lo lleva a la parte segunda, que es encargarte personalmente de ti? Y para esto, ella dice que tienes que usar una rutina que sea diaria, en donde tú encuentres tiempo para encargarte de tú mismo. Haz unos ejercicios de respiración, estréchate, haz meditación, trata de comer lo más sano que puedas, comidas muy balanceadas, haz ejercicio regularmente y dormir. Dormir es muy importante. Es importante que tú duermas tanto como tu cuerpo lo necesite. Tú te conoces mejor que todo el mundo. La tercera sugerencia que ella hace para estas estrategias es que no mires las noticias todo el tiempo. Es una cosa que ella dice que es muy difícil porque nosotros queremos estar muy informados de las últimas noticias y lo último que pasa, pero que eso puede ser al final, puede ser muy detrimental para tú y te va a hacer, inclusive a veces te pones furioso y no es una cosa que sea muy sana, ¿no? Y eso también incluye la parte de las cosas sociables como el Facebook o como el Twitter o esas plataformas que son muy sociales. Entonces, cuídate de eso. La sugerencia número 4, ella dice que te encargues, que asegúrate que tú tomas tiempo para tú mismo y que hagas actividades que te hacen sentir feliz y que tú te diviertes haciéndolas, como leer un libro, como hacer el ejercicio o una actividad que tú encuentres que sea muy aceptable y que sea favorita para ti. Puedes hacer coser, cocinar, hacer ir afuera y hacer flores o hacer música o inclusive mirar algunos de tus shows que sean muy programas de televisión que sean tus favoritos. La número 5 es conectarte con otros. Asegúrate que tú hablas con otras personas que tú tienes confianza y cuéntales cuáles son tus preocupaciones, ¿no? y cómo es que tú te sientes. Y una manera muy fácil de hacer esto es con el video que estamos haciendo nosotros, que es gratis por 45 minutos. Y pues también lo puedes hacer por medio de tu teléfono. Puedes hacerte emails o puedes hacerte lo que decimos en el texto. La práctica número 6 es una en que tú te tienes que completamente y totalmente aceptar la situación. Ellos lo llaman radical self-acceptance. Tienes que aceptar todo. Es una situación que es muy difícil la que estamos viviendo y que te lleva a crear un miedo y estrés. No hay una fórmula que sea perfecta para tratar de hacer esto, pero lo que tú tienes que pensar es que si tú lo aceptas de todo el corazón, y así como ella mencionó Audrey, la situación de sus hijos con las manzanas, entonces tú tienes que venir a unos términos en que tú te sientas feliz también. No hay un mapa que nos va a ayudar a salir de esta situación y no tenemos ningún precedente tampoco en el pasado de que algo así haya sucedido para saber cómo podemos salir de esto. Entonces, tú tienes que hacer lo imposible para que esto se convierta en una situación que tú puedas manejar. La última que ella dice es que llama por ayuda si necesitas ayuda. Llama a tus amigos, llama a tu familia, lo que tú te sientas más cómodo para hablar. Porque si necesitas ayuda, es muy, muy importante que la consigas. Así sea semanalmente, por medio de una llamada de teléfono, por medio de este video que estamos haciendo en Zoom, o si tienes un terapista que te pueda ayudar, eso sería espectacular. Pero asegúrate de que hay soluciones que pueden ser de tu alcance y así tú las puedes utilizar muy bien. Okay.
Thank you. All right, Audrey, if you don't mind sharing what you do for self-care, we would love to hear it.
Sure. So I already showed you the schedule that I keep. So I was happy to hear I'm doing some things right.
You're doing a lot of things right.
And trying for self-care. So keeping a schedule has definitely, I mean, it's not just helped with the school and the work stuff. It also just gives us that timeline of knowing when I'm going to have my time and he's going to get his time, and this is our time with the kids. And it just helps everybody plan out our day when sometimes we forget what day it is. One of the things we like to do is we like to order takeout from one of our favorite local restaurants once a week. That way we're supporting a small business in our community that we love. It's also giving us a break from making dinner. And then I always order extra food so that I have leftovers for lunch the next day. So I can have that to kind of look forward to. I was so excited about my half a quesadilla for lunch today. So that's just one of those little things that we do. Since we can't go out and we can't really do date nights, we'll try to turn that into an at-home date night. The only alone time that I really get is in the shower. So I have noticed I've been taking really, really, really long showers, sometimes until the hot water runs out. But it's like therapy for me to just stand in the hot water. I've also been known to hide on the back patio, specifically during bedtime. But I don't do that too often because that's not fair to my husband. We're pretty equal partners. I try to stay off social media, which is hard because I'm a social media manager for an advertising agency. But my own personal like social media, I try to stay off of it, especially when I find myself getting worked up by some of the people that I follow or some of the people in my family that we might not have similar views on things. I just have to turn it off. I have unfollowed a few people just for my sanity. I also struggle with anxiety like my son does. And when this all started happening, I was channeling my anxiety into something productive and something that I love, which I love to sew. So I started sewing fabric face masks because my mom works in a doctor's office and they still had to go to work, but they didn't have face masks. So I started by making them for her and her team. And then people started asking, and then I was just making them and giving them to whoever needed them. But that got to be overwhelming because it just got to be overwhelming. So it wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't that hobby that was actually releasing stress and feeling like self-care, which it had been at first. But the nice part of that is that some people donated money to me for their masks so that other people could get masks. And then I also use some of those donations to like support local businesses or help other moms out. I have a friend who her husband's deployed for a year and she's on lockdown with twin toddlers. And she hasn't been able to work. And so she's been painting. And so she's been trying to sell her paintings. So I used some of the money to buy a painting from her, which helped her out. And now I have this beautiful piece of art, blah, blah, blah. Checking in on my friends and supporting them as I can. Some days I'm better at it than others. Some days I don't have the energy to do it. And I think that's where you have to extend yourself that grace. And also extend that grace to your friends who aren't checking in on you because they might be feeling it that day. So just understanding and having empathy that we're all in this together. I also try to watch funny stuff. In those 5 minutes that I get between 9:55 and 10 o'clock at night. I try to watch funny stuff. I like to laugh. Like, life is hard on a regular basis. We have a lot going on in our family, even not in the middle of a pandemic. So when I have a few minutes, I tend to watch funny stuff. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Schitt's Creek, anything with Will Ferrell, that's my jam. And then as far as the exercising goes, that has not been happening, but
you're not alone.
But the one thing I have done is that when the kids start to get really worked up during the school day, I'll make them take a break and we'll do some yoga in the middle of class. Or my daughter, who is very hyperactive, we have stairs, so I'll make her run stadiums.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, it just sets her brain right. She needs that sensory input. So when she can't sit still, I'll say, go run a few stadiums. I'll run them with you. And it kind of resets everybody. So that's what we're doing.
Such a good idea. And I have to say, in terms of supporting friends, Audrey is A+. She is supporting me, her friend, right now by filming this workshop. Something she didn't have to do to help me and to help other parents out there. So thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so now Kristen le pregunta a Audrey cómo ella se encarga de ella misma. Cómo pasa el tiempo para estar sana. Y entonces lo primero que dice Audrey es que tienes que asegurarte que tengas un calendario. Que tenga un calendario que envuelva el trabajo tuyo, el colegio, las terapias, tu esposo o esposa. Ahora, otra de las cosas que ella hace es, una vez a la semana, traen comida del restaurante favorito de ellos para soportar el negocio y también para ellos darse un poquito de tratamiento en el sentido de no tener que cocinar esa noche. Y además, ella también pregunta por un poquito más comida. Así entonces ellos pueden tener comida para el próximo día y disfrutar esta parte también. Una cosa especial que ella hace, que es lo que ella encuentra que la satisface a ella, es entrar a la ducha y tomarse unas duchas muy largas. A ella le encanta eso, así entonces ella puede relajarse y así también gastar un tiempo sola. Y pues no hay que trabajar, no hay que encargarse de nadie. Y es una parte de relajamiento para ella muy especial. Ella también encuentra sitios para esconderse. Entonces uno de los sitios favoritos donde ella se esconde cuando puede por unos tiempos muy pequeños, por lo que pues ella también tiene que encargarse del marido y de los hijos, pero le encanta especialmente antes de irse a dormir para relajarse. Una sugerencia que ella dice es que las plataformas sociales como el Facebook pueden ser muy estresas, especialmente si hay personas ahí que no piensan lo mismo que ti o que no están de acuerdo contigo. Y entonces ella lo que ha hecho es hacer una filtración de estas personas para asegurarse que esa parte de la plataforma social no va a ayudar para que ella se sienta más estrés. Una de las formas en que ella también ha hecho para canalizar ese estrés es coser. A ella le gusta mucho coser y ella empezó a coser máscaras para ayudar a la parte donde ella vive y la gente que está cerca de ellos que tienen que tener máscaras. Pero ella dice que después de unas semanas eso se vuelve un poquito muy abrumador. Pero las personas que a ella les dio las máscaras, ellas le dieron un poco de plata y de esa forma ella ha podido voltear ese dinero y ayudar a otra gente que en la parte o en el vecindario de ella tienen necesidades. Ella habló de una amiga que tiene su marido que lo mandaron para los militares a que trabajara con ellos en el exterior y que ella tiene 2 niños que son muy pequeñitos y entonces ella le ha ayudado a ella también. Asegúrate, ella dice que es muy importante que chequees con tus amigos y que ellos todos estén muy bien y que unos con otros se ayuden. También ella sugiere que mires cosas que te hacen reír. Eso es muy importante. Hay muy poquito tiempo para mirar televisión, especialmente en el caso de ella con los niños, con su esposo, pero lo poquito que ella mira, que sean unos programas que sean favoritos tuyos. Y trata de que lo hagas, trata de hacerlo en segmentos de 30 minutos.
So, Audrey, I know we've gone way over time, so if you have to go, that's completely okay.
It's okay. It's bedtime. He's putting the kids into bed, so this is good.
Fantastic. We will keep you as long as So now I am going to pass it over to Carrie, who's going to tell us a little bit about how to create your own self-care toolkits, and then I'll show you what's in mine too. So Carrie?
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you everyone for joining us. So creating self-care toolkits, this is really going to look different for everybody based on your own interests, your own hobbies, what kind of things really calm you down, help alleviate some of that stress. And when you do have that little bit of time for yourself, be able to take your time for yourself and to do what you need to do for you. So that can look, let's first start with talking about what the space looks like, where you might feel most comfortable. This could be in the shower. This could be on your back patio. It could be, you know, in your bedroom in a nice chair, somewhere where you feel comfortable and where you can really take time for yourself. So I have made 2 kits. I have made one for myself, which is more adult focused, and I've also made one for children. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Gabe translate that beginning part. Then I'll go through the first toolkit, and then we'll translate that. And then I'll go through the children's toolkit. We can translate that. Does that sound okay, Gabe?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, ahora Carrie nos va a explicar acerca de una caja de herramientas de manera significante que ella utiliza, que tiene herramientas para poder sobrevivir esta situación. Ella específicamente ha hecho dos cajas. Una en la que ella la ha dividido en la de ella y en la de los niños. Y que eso puede ser un sitio, ese espacio puede ser un sitio donde tú te sientas seguro en tu casa, o como Audrey habló más temprano, puede ser el sitio en la ducha donde te sientes muy cómoda. Ahora el segundo, ella nos va a hablar acerca de ese ahora. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So first you can start by finding any kind of container for these items that you're going to be putting in your self-care toolkit. So I found baskets in my house. I have found shoe boxes, whatever works for you, use it. So in my self-care toolkit, I've started by really thinking about what calms me down, and what that is a lot of nostalgia. So a lot of things that I used to like when I was younger, a lot of things that remind me of other times. So that's just kind of what I used as my guide when I was making this. Let's start with hobbies. I had a lot of hobbies when I had time to do them, and now we have some more time. So I have been crocheting a bit. So I have some yarn that I would be putting in my box over here. I do cross stitching. So I have a little project that I've also started here that I would put in my self-care box. Anything with crafting, drawing, I've got an art kit. I put that in my box. Another hobby that I used to have is I would play the piano. So I've actually been taking that up a lot more now. So I have some sheet music here that I would put in my box. So hobbies would be the first one. We mentioned videos, media, things like that. And for that, I have gone back to, again, one of my favorites from when I was young, the Brady Bunch and other shows like that, that really send me back to happy places. And also, like Audrey said before, a lot of happy things. So in that same vein, I found that the happy books, or I found that I normally read quite dramatic things. And so to counter that, in this time, I found some Lin-Manuel Miranda to be reading. This is a great book.
That one.
And yeah, it's really good. So any kind of book that makes you happy, has some good memories with it, I recommend that. I also have one of my dog's toys, because playing with my dog is something that helps calm me down. Or any pet you might have, that's something that might be what you want to do in your time for self-care. I have pictures of my family, just going through these, and even with your kids too, being able to take some time to calm down together, sit together, and look through some family photos. It's a nice time to be together. I also have some home movies that we created. I think that could be an awesome activity, again, for the family to do, to look back at what you might have on your phone, or if you have a video recorder from the past, something like that. A nice calming activity. We talk about sometimes doing things is good, but also they talk about the sense, using different senses, scents that calm you, or eating different calming foods. So my favorite treat of choice is chocolate stuff. So I have some cookies, Girl Scout cookies that I've been eating. And I also have some essential oils that I put in my diffuser to calm you down, but you could also use candles, things like that. And then the last thing that I have is a journal. During this time, I think it's important to be able to express what you're feeling, to be able to write things down. It can help you just alleviate pressure from yourself. And I think it might be really interesting to look back on how you were feeling during this pandemic in the future, you know. So I definitely recommend that too as a calming mechanism, but also something that you might find really interesting in the future. And that's my basket for myself.
Okay. So, Carrie says que hoy en día lo que a ella le ayuda muchísimo, la segunda parte que ella quería hablar, hablamos de la primera, que era la parte de encontrar un sitio, un espacio en tu casa para los niños y para ti, que sea bueno. Ahora ella dice que la segunda parte que la hace a ella estar muy controlada en el sentido de mantener su sanidad mental, es que ella tiene una canasta, como la ustedes vieron ahí. Y en esta canasta ella pone muchos de las cosas que a ella la hacen feliz. Entonces, en cualquier minuto que ella necesite el apoyo de esta canasta, ella va y mira en la canasta qué es lo que ella la puede utilizar en ese momento para sentirse mejor. Ahora, una de las cosas que ella mencionó que ella tiene en su canasta son libros. A ella le gusta tocar el piano mucho, o sea que tiene un libro de cómo tocar el piano. También tiene libros en el sentido de que no solamente sea el libro de leer, pero también sea el libro que tienen cuotas que a ella le gustan mucho en el pasado. Tiene también una serie de fotos familiares que ella misma ha tomado o películas que ella misma ha hecho de la familia, que también las mira cuando ella siente la necesidad. Le encanta jugar con sus perros, entonces ella tiene en su canasta también muchos juguetes que los perros le gustan jugar también. Y ella hace un énfasis en el sentido de que es muy importante que tengas pasatiempos. Y estos pasatiempos que acabamos de mencionar son los que te van a ayudar a través de estos días que son bien difíciles. Partes que ella añadió al final es comida que te gusta. Ella tiene unos aceites que la hacen calmar muy bien también. Y ella también tiene un diario personal en el que ella escribe lo que ella ha experimentado en esta situación que ha sido muy difícil. Okay.
Thank you. So I'll do the one that I have created, focuses on children and what children might want to put in their calming box. And as we mentioned before, yes, it's important to take care of yourself, and we can also help our children to take care of themselves and to figure out what they need to help them to feel calm and to alleviate some stress during this time. So I have a shoebox then for our children's box. And in here I started with books. Books that you can read together, books that your child can look through on their own. Some of my favorites here, Creatology series, and some books that you can read together. Maybe it could be some chapter books. Junie B. Jones is a good funny one for this time. So I have some of those books in here. I also have a book specifically that's poems. And I think they could be something that's really quick and easy to read fast to help calm yourself, calm your child. So book of poems. Of course, no box for children would be complete without a friend to read to, or any kind of animal, something to hug, to help to calm a child. So we got a little teddy bear there. I also have a bunch of creative art things, crayons and construction paper. I'd also say that for children, a lot of times cooped up inside can be very stressful for them as well. And a lot of times ripping paper is something that is a safe way for children to get out those emotions that they're feeling. So have a lot of paper on hand for that. I have some beading activities as well. Again, keeping with the crafts. Favorite movies, Princess and the Frog is a favorite one. And then I also have some music, if that's something that calms them down as well. Having a recorder, some sort of instrument that they play, or a CD. The last thing that I'll add then is a lot of things that we do nowadays are digital. So when I was thinking about creating these boxes, I was thinking, oh, I should put my phone in there because that's where I listen to all of my music. I didn't think that was in the spirit of this idea. But what I could suggest is making a list of the things that calm you down. If you want to keep them in a box and if they're tangible, that's great. But if they are virtual, like music, like watching something on Disney Plus or on Netflix, it could be a good idea to make a list instead of having something tangible.
Ok, lo que Carrie se refiere ahora es como anteriormente hablamos de los adultos y cómo es la mejor manera en que tú como adulto puedes copiar con esta situación. Y lo que ella habló ahorita es de cómo hacerlo con los niños. Entonces, la manera que ella lo ha hecho con los niños es conseguirse una caja. Ella tiene ahí una caja de unos zapatos. Y en esta caja de zapatos ella va a poner libros que ella puede leer con los niños juntos, o que ella le puede leer a los niños y que sean favoritos, ¿no? Especialmente que a ellos les guste muchos, que tengan poemas también, que tengan muchas partes en que ellas se van a sentir que están construyendo y desarrollando sus habilidades. Y para ese propósito ella tiene ahí papel de construcción y una parte muy importante es también tener un animal de peluche, como ella mostró, tenía ahí un oso para que ellos se sientan que tengan su amigo ahí con ellos. Ahora, la parte digital es una parte que es importante, pero pues tienes que tener cuidado por lo que no tienes que... no quieres que ellos tengan un teléfono a mano o una cosa así, ¿no? Pero entonces lo que tú puedes hacer es escoger diferentes partes de música o partes en tu teléfono donde estas cosas se pueden traer. That's it.
And the last thing that I will add that I forgot is important, a blanket of some sort, something comfy and soft. And if we're talking about calming mechanisms, things that help you calm you, heavier blankets, weighted blankets are something that really can ground you and children as well.
La última cosa que ella quiere traer es que es una cobija. Una cobija que muchos de los niños tienen cobijas y ellos se sienten muy seguros. Y no solamente se sienten seguros, pero esta cobija puede ser una de las cosas que ellos los mantienen calmados.
So when I was building my kit, I have 0 containers in my tiny apartment that are not already holding other things. So I have no box or basket, but I did gather the things that make me happy and that calm me down. And the biggest thing for me is texture. I love feeling different textures. And so first thing is actually this pillow. And some people think this pillow looks ridiculous, but I don't care because not only is it fun to hug, because it's just the right size for me, But it's also, I mean, petting the pillow. It's a very soft texture, has a different texture when you pet it this way or this way. So actually doing something with my hands helps relax me and calm me down. And I am not talented to crochet or knit, at least yet in my life. Carrie mentioned a blanket. This blanket, really great one. It covers my whole body, which I feel is very important. And then it was also crocheted for me by one of my really good friends. So that makes this blanket extra special. Other things I have, this I picked up at CVS. It's pillow spray that smells like lavender. I spray it on before I go to bed because sometimes, even though I don't have kids, sometimes all I get to my day are those, 15 minutes based on everything. And falling asleep with this makes me feel better. I also find that my eyes are hurting a lot by staring at screens all the time. So I picked up these at the drugstore, which are eye masks that heat up. And they are amazing. And the first time I put one on, I fell asleep. So highly recommend. My eyes stopped burning and they felt great. And I fell asleep, so all was good. And then I also added a face mask to mine. Again, picked it up from drugstore, just to, kind of relax myself, 15 minutes here or there, to cool me down, and a little bit of, I guess, more traditional self-care. And then one of the last things I would say is my self-care. Eloise, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. She's not doing it. Is Eloise. So she, and I have 2 cats and 2 dogs, but she's the one who listens. So she was selected for this. But snuggling up and, just being with my dog, who I love, also petting my dog, another texture, really, really great. And then it was funny that Carrie mentioned nostalgia, because the last thing in my self-care kit is actually Milo, who I've had since I was 2 years old. And he has traveled with me everywhere, and having that sense of something that made me happy when I was a kid, reminds me of that feeling when, your parents can just hug you and make everything go away. So nostalgia, very important.
Ahora, Kristen, se refiere, se acaba de referir en la manera personal de ella, así como Carrie habló de la manera personal de ella, en las cosas que la hacen sentir a ella mejor. Y Kristen dice que lo que tienes que hacer es reunir cosas que te hacen feliz. En el caso de ella, lo primero es una almohada que está cubierta con un peluche. Y ella dice que la parte de la textura la calma a ella mucho. Es importante que sea de un tamaño que a ti te convenga y que te gusta, y que también sea, como ella habló anteriormente, la textura, ¿no? Otra de las cosas que ella habló fue la cobija de ella, que ella le da a ella mucha protección personal. Todo esto es psicológico, claro, ¿no? Pero son cosas que te hacen sentir muy bien personalmente. Habló también de un aerosol, de que el olor de esto es un lavender. Y habló también de cubrirse los ojos con algo que tú te sientas muy cómodo y que lo más importante, ¿no? Que te ayude a dormir. Ella también mencionó el perro de ella, que se llama Eloís. Es muy importante, que te dé una seguridad y que te calme, ¿no? Lo mismo que el gatico de peluche que ella mostró hace un rato.
All right, so that is finally it. Apologies for making this workshop a bit longer than average, but I think it's kind of telling. We all spend not enough time on ourselves, and we think, okay, self-care, I have 100 other things to worry about, and we thought so much that we could do this in 30 minutes, but caring for yourself is a lot of work. And so thank you for sticking with us through this whole time. We will share everything on our Facebook page shortly after this, and with all of the websites and links and everything. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon.